Hey everyone, this is Lori with 3 Keys Astrology, and I'm a reader for Astrolata. Thank you so much for all the kind comments and warm reception that you gave me when Lada launched me last month. Pinch me, you're watching a dream come true. Lada is my favorite astrologer in the entire world, and it is only Lada's circle of teachers for whom are also the reason that I'm an astrologer. By God's grace and her permissions and welcome and warmth, I am teaching astrology for Lada. We begin class September 17th at 10 o'clock in the morning. I teach in 10-week modules, and after 4 of those 10-week modules, you will have enough knowledge to open your own astrology practice. So go to her website, astrolata.com, sign up for our classes. I offer astrology coaching. I have read over 5,000 readings for people all over the world, and I am loving my job. So if you want work that is totally fulfilling and such sacred work, come and learn how to do astrology. So the reason I'm making this video today is I announced at my launch with Miss Lada that I would be doing celebrity webinars once a month on the 14th of every month. This webinar, I'm going to give you a little teaser. I'm not going to tell you exactly who that webinar is for, but it's going to be a triple analysis. We're going to be talking about 3 different people who are interrelated in this analysis, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. Keep in mind, there's another project that I'm working on that you'll soon find out about, but keep in mind that these celebrity webinars, in this particular case, that we're going to be probably spending until Christmas time and maybe a little bit after digging in like archaeologists, astrologers, into these 3 very interesting and notorious individuals. So without my telling you who these people are, they are internationally recognized, as I said, notorious, famous, and infamous. We're going to discuss why. The first person I'm going to tell you about is there's one woman and 2 men. And the first woman that we're going to look at, and as I said, we're going to do this on the 14th. So go check out at Astrolata, the website, to see the timing. I'm going to be offering these dates, the 14th for sure, each and every month, but I'm going to alter the times a little bit so that our friends in Australia can join us. Our friends up in Norway, Sweden, and Scotland can join us, as well as our friends south of the perimeter of the equator. Our friends in Italy and Africa, India, all over the world, so that it's a reasonable time for all of us. At this time, unfortunately, they won't be recorded, but as I said, Lada and I have made this very affordable for you. We decided to offer these webinars for a mere $10. So come and join. You might be so inclined after you see what we talk about in these webinars, as we look at an in-depth study of human nature in real time, that you might want to become an astrologer. And we make that very possible for you too at astrolata.com, and for me in my own personal business, 3keysastrology.com. So without further ado, the 3 people that we're going to talk about in our first webinar, we'll only do one at a time, but when you sign up for this $10 webinar with me to meet me on the 14th of every month, and each month you'll go click and pay your $10, just to be clear, we're going to first start with the woman involved in this triple analysis, because the intertwined, interlaced, you could maybe even call now chains that bind these 3 people. Really, we're going to look really deeply at things that motivate human beings. We're going to be looking at intention, but most of all, and the teaser that I'll give you about the woman who we'll start with on the 14th, I'm going to give you a little teaser about all 3. So I named my business 3 Keys Astrology because the 3 critical factors in any analysis are the sun, moon, and rising sign. Mind, body, and soul, we're figuring out what people need to feel loved, what motivates them, why they do the things they do. And the woman that will begin in this interesting It's a bit of a spider web, I have to tell you. And as I said, notorious, but fame and infamy color and tone and stain these three individuals. They've been in the news. They've been in the news a lot. And the reason the timing for this video, the 14th of this month, is going to begin now is because while we're doing our analysis in real time, we're going to see some really new information come to light. The woman that we're going to discuss, I will tell you, was born on Christmas Day. And excuse me while I look over here at the chart. She's no Santa Claus, though. Believe me when I tell you. She may have used some of Santa Claus themes, and she actually did. So we're going to see how she did that and why in her lifetime. But she was born in the afternoon on Christmas Day. She was born in France. And so she has her sun in Capricorn. She has her moon in Leo. And let me check. Yeah, oh yeah, this is a very big and important moon. If you recall, okay, Sun Capricorn, Moon Leo, and her rising sign is Gemini. And right there, when we look at these three components, we have an interesting triple dynamic, and it is as interesting as these three people entangled and now kind of bound in chains with each other by the choices that they've made in their lifetime. We're also going to talk about fate in these analyses too. So for $10, you're getting an awful lot, you guys. And you're getting a little, you get to crack open the mind of an astrologer, yours truly. So her north node is in Leo. A lot of us have this. In fact, I have this. And many of you have this, that were born in 1981. And so let's go on to look at the three keys that are involved in the other characters. So we're going to start this Saturday on the 14th with the woman in this chart. And as I said, she was born on Christmas Day in France, is notorious, was quite the socialite, but is meeting destiny. And that's interesting because that's indeed something that we all do. It doesn't matter what your path is. We all have a destiny, and fate knits us together, if you will, by our choices. So you know that she's Sun Capricorn, Gemini rising, and Moon Leo. Now let's go look at the other characters. There's one woman and two men that we're going to really, we're going to get out our shovels, our picks. We're going to dig into the minds, bodies, and choices of these individuals in this fun, every month on the 14th analysis. And this group of people, because they're such a big deal right now in the whole wide world, and something very important for the collective, and what's going on with our Gemini and Sagittarian nodes right now in society. And something that began in 2017 when the nodes were also made a big, huge splash into the world. And without further ado, I'm going to go on to the men. So the first guy is, yes, he has his sun. Do you remember when we did the conservatorship analysis for Britney Spears and I told you to pay very close attention whenever you see 0 degrees? This man has a 0 degree sun in Aquarius. He has his moon in Aries, and his rising sign is in Sagittarius. And the last man that we're going to take a look at has his sun in Pisces, his rising sign in Leo, and his moon in Scorpio. So you have 3 people now, and you've got a lot of information with whether you're an astrologer, a budding astrologer, a primed astrologer, a student of astrology, or a professional astrologer. You already have a lot of information about these 3 people, and I've already told you, I'm not going to reveal who they are until you come and join me with the webinar. In the next video that I talk about preceding our 14th, just to remind you where we are, I'll give you some more little tidbits and information about what we're finding out, because we're talking about 3 lives that intersected by choice, which is something that each and every human being on this planet can appreciate, because fate's made when we're in relationship. And one of the most fascinating things about astrology is that we are looking not only at psychosexual, psychosocial, and social motivations in every human life, we are also looking at the interrelatedness of planetary energy as above, so below, and how it manifests on planet Earth. So I can tell you that you are going to be thoroughly enamored with this aspect of astrology that automatically comes once you become an astrologer and you practice. So, again, to remind you, on the 14th of every month for astrolotta.com, I'm the newest astrologer, an intuitive astrologer, an advanced astrologer. My teacher was Marina Stoichkova. My teacher was Nikola Stoyanovich. My teacher was Victor. My teacher was Best of all Lotta. And you also can have this dream come true. It is the most fulfilling work I've ever done in my life. I am 59 years old. I'm a former teacher, was studying to be a professor of medieval studies when fate cracked her whip and my life took a completely different turn. And where I am now, 15 years later, is I can just feel like a big bubble of helium floating in my belly for the joy that I have and the euphoria and love that I have to be part of Lotta's group and to be an astrologer, a practicing astrologer. It is amazing. And when you're an astrologer, there's no limit to the kind of work that you can do. Number 1. And number 2, we share in common these basic human needs as human beings. And we share a time and space when we're born in the same frame. And yet, our choices, our life path, our cultures, our religions, our devotions, our DNA, our biologies, our conditioning, make us really, really unique. And that's why astrology is ruled by Uranus. That is why astrology is so Aquarian. So I hope you'll join me. Remember again, I'm Lori, and with Lotta, and on the 14th of every month, we are going to be doing some pretty fun analysis. You'll get to see the inner workings and rumblings of astrology in real time each of the months with me. And the 3 characters that I chose to kick this off, I'm going to tell you, have some really interesting psychology. I have an associate's degree in social sciences. When I was only 18, I wanted to be a psychologist, but I'm Italian and Irish, and I'm super emotional, and I knew from the get-go after my first semester in college that I was too emotional to be a psychologist. For me to be a therapist, I would have been jumping off a cliff with you. I would have been taking everybody home with me that didn't have a home. I would have been feeding all the hungry, and I would be crying rivers when you were sad. At age 59, that was my awakening at age 18, that I didn't have the emotional maturity, you could say, to be able to handle that profession. And yet it fascinates me as much as it did when I began to read about human beings when I was 14 years old. I am 59 now. I'm still not emotionally mature enough not to feel you. I'm empathic, super compassionate, double Taurus, Cancer rising, mama, 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 and I love people, and I get them. And so If you're interested in astrology and watching this channel, so do you. So I hope and pray that I'll see you on the 14th of every month. Only $10. And we're going to be together maybe an hour and a half. Time flies when you're interested in being an archaeologist and a psychologist and a sociologist and trying to understand other human beings. And that's one of the most beautiful things about this sacred, soulful science that's 4,000 years old. So I hope you'll join me. Remember, we have one woman. We're going to start with her on the 14th. And then next month on the 14th, we'll get into the other characters one at a time. So involved in this intricate, tangled web that they wove, we have someone who's born on Santa Claus's birthday and used some Santa Claus temptations, we could say, but is not Santa Claus at all. And in the news, and somebody that global audiences all over the world have been captivated by the dynamics between these three people, and we're going to dig our shovels in really deep and see what there is to see. So this is me, Lori, with Lotta, on Astrolotta, signing out, saying go to astrolotta.com and click on that link, pay your $10, ask all your friends to join. It's a fun hour or an hour and a half of educational and explorative and mysterious digging into what makes people tick. Bye for now. Thank you so much for joining me.